Hi folks, Reverend Crystal Cox here, and it's kind of exciting, all the people that contact me about wanting to know more about how do they get more intuition, what they do with this information, that they've got these visions, their dreams are more lucid, they got all this information, and what do we do? Now what? Sort of deal, right? Kind of like graduating college or some fabulous magician school or, you know, the Harry Potter school. You got all this magic, but what do you do because you still live with the muggles? Well, I bet many of you can guess what I'm going to say. Prayer. You pray, folks. Ask your guides and angels to help you to know what to do first, okay? Now, the energy, of course you don't have to put your hands together, but the energy of putting your hands together, you know, kind of creates an energy loop. That's why they do this in meditation, you know, creates an energy loop. And this, you know, with one hand creating the loop and putting the loop out. Okay? It is your path, and what you came here to do is unique to you. I can tell you how to talk to spirit, teach you how to pray, teach you how to connect, how to have more self-confidence. Most of all, what I end up doing is validating the fact that people aren't crazy, because they see things. They might see ghosts. They might communicate with people who've crossed over. They might get visions. They might get answers to questions. They might have these things happening, and nobody in their life really talks like that or understands the lingo they're getting in their head, an actual language, or they don't know what to do with it, and so they keep it to themselves. So a lot of times what my spiritual advising does is basically kind of just validates them so they don't, you know, go get completely depressed or, you know, feel like checking out. So basically when you get this information, ask it. They'll say, you know, whatever it is you're hearing, say, can you clarify that? Can you show me? Can you give me a sign? God, Goddess, Mother God, guides, angels, please show me what to do to understand whatever was said, or to, you know, bringing things into your life. A lot of people think, oh, they're asking too much from Spirit. But here's the thing, you're not asking enough. Okay? Ask for more. Be clear about what it is that you want. Talk about what you want. Say it out loud. Your business, your sexuality, your spirituality, your relationship, politics, raising your kids, taking care of elderly parents, diseases, gardens. There's nothing that should be off limits spiritually. A lot of people say, well, this is sacred, this is in the spiritual realm. We are spiritual beings 24 hours a day. We don't separate our spiritual self from our political self and our person who goes to work and our person who's raising the kids and our person who's dealing with our parents or our relationships. If we're doing that, we're out of whack. Right? We are spiritual beings at all times, paying attention to our thoughts at all times, our frequency at all times, and we can ask for things at all times. You know, like angels, please show me how to deal with this person. You know, maybe you want to have the intention of being positive with this person. They're being very negative to you. What do you do? And you can ask angels on that. What do I do in these money decisions? Angels, guides, give me a sign, give me clarity, show me what to do on that. A lot of people think that money is taboo to ask for, but you know, that's past life stuff, or of like giving up all your material goods. The money is a tool here on this earth, okay? Money, I don't want to say money brings happiness, but boy, you know, food's nice to have. And in this system of things, having food and warmth and basic needs, it really does affect your spirit, your morale, your emotions, and so it is a tool of the system, and it does affect you spiritually. So asking for guides and angels to help you to create more money and staying in constant flow of money coming in, instead of constantly thinking about how much money you don't have or what's bad or what's wrong in your life, pretend as if you do have it. You know, so you're creating a frequency to draw that to yourself. People tell me they're having a lot clearer dreams now. So they're remembering their dreams more, but they don't understand what they mean, but they're more colorful, more vivid. I read some Native American stuff years ago that said that when your dreams are very vivid, that's a vision. You know, so if you break it down, you know, and it can be very frustrating. So basically, before you go to sleep, you can just say, please help me, angels, guides, Mother God, Father God, please help me to remember what it is that I need to know. Or show me what I need to know. Or give me clarity on what it is that I need to know from my dreams. Or if there's a message that's trying to get through to me, please give it to me clear. I'm a little dense. Angels, please help me to bring more money into my life. Angels, guides, please help me to be healthy. Please show me what to do with my relationship with my children. Or please give me a clear sign on if I should stay in my marriage. Or if this person's supposed to be in my life, please show me clearly how to keep them or get them in my life. If they're not meant to be in my life, please show me the way to let them go. You know, being in constant intention and prayer of what it is that you want and vibrating high instead of, you know, getting to where you're going down, and we'll free fall into sadness. We'll start thinking, and you got to stop yourself and go, what caused that? Okay, what was I thinking? A lot of times it's you're thinking about what you think that someone else is thinking about you. You know, whether they want you in their life, whether they want you romantically, whether if they're children, whether they've rejected you or love you, or if it's a boss, or whether you're going to get that job, or if someone approves you. A lot of times it's someone else's approval of you. If you're really doing what you want to do in a day and you're excited about that, oftentimes we don't free fall into sadness and grief. It's usually because of what other people or things that we don't have in our life. And even if, you know, we think, well, we're sad and down because we don't have billions of dollars. Well, if we had billions of dollars, then we'd be sad because what? Because we're alone, or our kids rejected us, or, you know, these things are going to come up. But the only thing to do is to take it to spirit. Okay, pray about it. Ask for clear signs. Say, I'm really, really dense. I don't get it. I'm new to this spiritual thing. It's a wonderful, beautiful gift. I'm having all these visions. I have clarity in my head. People are telling me that they'll ask a question, they'll get a clear answer. They'll write stuff. They got all this information. But even though it seems really clear, they don't know what to do with it, and they don't have clarity on it, even though it's clear, if that makes sense. So I just suggest that you ask your angels to help you. Say, you know, like, I really am dense, and I'm very grateful for this gift, but I need a clear sign on what it is I'm supposed to do for this next step. I need a really clear sign, and then kind of wait for it. And just keep praying and talking to Spirit. But if you ask for a clear sign and then go back into depression, you know, of just beating yourself up about, woe is me, this person don't love me, I don't have any money, my life's not worth living, my kids can't, you know, too many bills, then you're going to attract that frequency, okay? So try to stay in the frequency that you want to be in. And believe me, it's hard. And I know sometimes you get sad, and then you just have to do what you can to climb out of it. And stay as positive as you can. And it's never, I don't want to say never, but it's really hard to keep that frequency at all times. So some of the folks that I've been advising lately about what to do with this new information, new transition, they seem to think that there's more energy coming in now and that it's easier now, and that they've maybe on and off for their whole life been wanting to be more connected spiritually, maybe more psychic, more clairvoyant, more intuitive, and they feel like they got that now, but they don't really understand what to do with it. And so basically ask your guides what to do with it. Because what your bliss is, what you're supposed to do, is different than what I'm here to do. You know, I was looking at palm reading the other night, you know, palm reading stuff. There's the card, you know, like, what tarot card are you? And I'm the Hierophant, and, you know, I guess I'm a spiritual leader. And so whatever, I'm the Queen of Hearts and the Destiny cards, you know, whatever it is that you came here to do, and you look in your astrological chart, and basically your bliss, what you feel good, feels good to you, that's kind of what you're called to do. And that's different than anybody in your life. And nobody needs to approve you. You know, and you can just say, you know, pray and tell your angels, look, if I'm supposed to do this path here, that's going to probably inevitably alienate my whole family, then show me clearly how to do it the best way. And if I'm not supposed to do it, then show me how to stop, you know, wanting to do it. And it does require, of course, a lot of faith. But the more you practice it, the more it's going to happen more. I didn't want to scare the people, but you know, the more you open to, the more you allow, the more you're going to get. But the healthier your body's going to get. You know, you can, you know, muscles you haven't used for years, you start using them, you know, you start doing small weights or working or walking, and they start to rebuild themselves, okay? Your intuition, your clarity, your eyes, your legs, your muscles, your hands, you know, all of these things develop more as you use them. So basically, again, everything comes from prayer. So don't be scared of these visions. Don't be scared of your powers. I had someone tell me recently that they grew up in really studying the Bible, and they were really devoted to that, and they're getting all this psychic information, and people walk up to them, they know stuff, right? They get visions of things before they happen. They're maybe talking to spirits that have crossed over, people's, medium stuff. And they call me up and they are afraid because they want to shut it off. So they've spent different times in their life with drugs and alcohol to try to shut it off because they're afraid of what God will say. Okay, so they're so afraid that what the Bible says, that they're going to be persecuted and go to hell, so then they harm their body, they drink, they, do drugs, they do whatever they can to avoid these visions. And my answer to that, of course, is that if God didn't want you to have it, God wouldn't have gave it to you, right? It's a beautiful gift. I had visions as a young child, and I always I prayed just every emotion and everything I knew to pray at the time, that I would not know about anything that would happen before it happened if there was nothing that I could do about it. And I later learned in my life that runs in my bloodline, and it is a heavy, heavy burden to see something, not be able to do anything at all about it, and someone you love dies. And it terrorizes people, really. I always prayed that wouldn't happen. My intuition is very high. I don't psychically necessarily see things like that, maybe because of my fear of it at that time. But I would go up to houses and stuff and say, oh, they just had 6 puppies or whatever, and I know stuff like that, and I remembered scaring the adults in my life, so I kind of shut it down because it scared them. But if you have a kid that's doing that and you don't understand it, maybe take them to a spiritual advisor that does, because it's not voodoo. I keep saying voodoo because the way I grew up, they said, oh, that anything negative is voodoo. Well, voodoo is its own spirituality, like a voodoo priestess. It's its own beautiful of the light spirituality. Any spirituality in any religion can be dark. It's your intention of what you do for that. So I inevitably scared the adults around me, and so then I just stopped doing it. But if you know kids who do that, or remember past lives, just talk to them about it. Don't be afraid of it. And don't try to get them, the evil out of them or whatever. Take them to someone who knows this stuff. Someone like me who can help them understand it. Because I know it can get bad. I mean, when I was young, I had visions of what I now know to be a past life, and it was horrible. Because, the things that I kept seeing happening, I wouldn't have imagined happening. I never seen them happen in a movie. I never understood how something like that could even happen. And if I'd had someone to talk to, it would have been much better. I finally did talk to somebody in my mid-20s. Then I ended up talking to several somebodies that ended up telling me about this one particular past life, and they all said the same thing. So then I tried to sit down with the energy that was that past life and say, look, we're not doing this life, and try to find a way to get rid of these visions, because they're horrible. And they might make you, depending on your lineage or whatever, act out, boy or girl, act out in different ways. Different violence, maybe a little aggressive in school, maybe being a bully, maybe, and a lot of people think, oh, well, that's because of something that's happening at home. Well, it might be a past life. You might be able to help that kid work with it, but you can't if you're afraid of their powers. Okay, because really it's not that big of a deal. It's not that big a power. Telepathy, high intuition, clairvoyancy, mediumship, past lives, all of this stuff is basically, it's a fact, okay? So just because you're born into a family that doesn't really get it, or thinks that it's not of the Bible, or so it's not a good thing, it's a bad thing, then these kids end up suppressing that, and then what do they do with it, right? And there's a lot of kids like that now. So basically, I suggest that you get your kids to working with someone who gets the lingo. It's pretty weird when, at any age, you start to hear voices in your head. And it's like you're channeling, so you have this thing, this lingo. I've had just different things of, I've talked in, we can call it in tongues or whatever, but just chanting and toning. And it was very Native American and very, powwow stuff and drumming, and it was just so cool. But it had another shift to it, and I've recently heard some plating, other channeled plating music that sounds like that. So it's got its mystical new agey, but it's very much based in drumming and chanting, and I love hand drums and toning, and when I start into that, I start to say things I have no idea what I'm saying. And so when this happens to kids, or when they start, the words like bringing higher frequencies, vibrations, keepers of light, family of light, the different lingo that their guides might be talking to them, they can say that at some family barbecue and no one's going to understand. It's like just getting them with people who understand their lingo. I've seen these special schools for kids, let's see, ghosts or whatever. It's like imaginary friends, you've seen all this stuff. But still, I know so many people who still just tell their kids, you don't see that and that's not real and whatever. Well, bull. And now, kids are coming in very young age and they, know how to play the piano or they know how to do stuff. Nurture that, but at the same time, they're here. They might know everything they've learned. You could learn an entire lifetime, and maybe even the next, they might already know at age 3. And sometimes the parents are even jealous of their kids, so they suppress it, or they're afraid of it, so they suppress it. Basically, if you don't know what to do to help your child in that, pray. You can talk to your child's guides, your child's angels. You have spiritual contract with your child. Show me what to do to help them. I want to help them. Whether they're doing something destructive, or they're depressed, or they're dark, or what can I do to help this child? Obviously, the child is gifted and is in a world of, and the only thing I can associate it with is being a magician in a world where all of your powers are frozen. It's boring, it's dark, it's mundane, it's you have to do this, you have to do that, you can't wave your wand and create this and the magic and the, I know people think I'm out there or whatever they do anyway, but on the other side it's like that. We're freer. We're free to just manifest anything, like, a house or a garden or something mystical and beautiful, and this earth is so drab, I remember the first time I had some friends who lived in Hawaii, and in Hawaii, color everywhere, like flowers, and the paintings are all vibrant of the sea and the different fish of the sea and vibrant. And then this other friend is from California, and it's like year-round there's greenery and there's flowers and there's color in all the paintings. And they moved to Montana, and it's like, most of the year things are gray, the grass is brown, the flowers only come out once in a while, and there's not like a lot of them. The paintings were more of a Western theme and not really vibrant. And so it was kind of like that I just described. Montana, of course, has its own magic, and it's just beautiful in the spring and in the mountain peaks and that. But at the same time, when you're used to a lot of color and vibrancy, and then you're like, what do I do? So these kids that remember, and the adults now that awaken and contact me, like, well, now what? So now they remember their powers, they remember telepathy, they remember the power of thoughts, how they can create other frequencies, they remember their connection to spirit, they got it all, but now what? And for now, you're basically just holding a frequency, holding that energy, waking up, trying to wake up others, but not like trying to change or convert people. You're just excited and alive, and try not to let it get depressed of like, oh great, well I got all this and now I'm here. Be happy and be light the best you can, and teach others the best you can, and study more the best you can. But basically just holding the frequency and praying, asking Mother God, Great Spirit, all available angels and archangels, ask your guides, please show me what to do with this information. Today I saw, or today I got this in my head, what do I do with this? And please make it clear. So anyway, there's just a little bit on some of you that ask me, okay, now what? I'm starting to wake up, I get this stuff, I remember it, or you maybe have suppressed it your whole life and have now met enough people through Facebook or whatever that you feel like it's okay to be a light worker, it's okay to be a healer, it's okay to come out with your visions and things you see, because you're not going to be labeled a complete freak. Whereas with before Facebook and before like the internet, you seen something weird, felt something weird, had some power and energy coming off your hands, and there was no one else in the world that had it because you couldn't reach them or talk to them, because what are you going to do? Just go through the phone book in your local town, pick up your big, those big phones attached to the wall, and how are you going to find these people? So the internet has opened that up, and people are more awakening to that, and they approve of themselves, and they're going to allow themselves, but they're like, now what? So prayer is now what? God bless you all.